Welcome, students! We usually picture these massive tech giants as kind of isolated fortresses, right? Just secretly building their own empires behind closed doors. But honestly, the reality of how modern tech ecosystems actually function is shifting right in front of us. Today, in this explainer, we're taking a magnifying glass to a massive multi-billion-dollar partnership, Google's major investment in an AI research lab called Anthropic. So let's jump right in and see exactly how these two are powering the AI frontier together.
To give you a quick roadmap for today's lesson, here is our agenda. First, we'll tackle the AI safety challenge, then unpack something called constitutional AI. After that, we'll look at the compute for equity model, zoom out to interconnected tech ecosystems, and finally, wrap things up with a look at reliability over size.
All right, let's get into it. Section 1, the AI safety challenge, or teaching right from wrong. Imagine you're sitting in front of a completely supercharged, genius-level computer. This thing has access to virtually all human knowledge and processes it all in the blink of an eye. But here is the catch. It literally has zero inherent concept of ethics, none. So the massive question becomes, how on earth do we, as its creators, make sure this kind of intelligence actually behaves according to our human values? How do you sit down and teach a machine what's fundamentally right and wrong?
Well, that specific puzzle is the entire focus of a field called AI alignment. Basically, it's the strict science of ensuring artificial intelligence acts in accordance with human values. And what's really fascinating here is that the founders of Anthropic, who are actually former executives from OpenAI, are absolute masters of this. They literally built their whole company around being the global leaders in this one absolutely crucial scientific pursuit.
Which brings us right to Section 2, Understanding Constitutional AI. Basically, writing a rulebook for machines.
So what is constitutional AI? It's Anthropic's flagship framework for training AI systems using a very specific set of safety and ethical rules. Think of it kind of like a classroom code of conduct, or, the basic societal laws that keep our everyday lives safe and functional. You absolutely wouldn't run a school without basic rules to guide student behavior, right? Well, Anthropic believes there is no way we should be running these incredibly powerful frontier AI models without a strict, embedded constitution to guide their decisions autonomously.
This is where we see the direct bridge between our messy human world and the highly structured machine world. On one side, you've got our human values, our everyday ethics, the desire to actually be helpful, our basic human expectations. And then over on the flip side, you have the safety frameworks. We're talking the coded rules, constitutional AI, and aligned behavior. The ultimate goal here is to perfectly mirror that human side straight onto the machine side. But actually building that framework, that is really only half the battle.
Let's move on to Section 3, the compute for equity model, or how we actually turn this theory into reality.
Okay, so teaching an AI these complex, nuanced constitutional rules requires an absolutely mind-boggling amount of physical computing power. And this is exactly where Google enters the chat, with a brilliant three-step process. First up, Google provides the heavy metal, specialized hardware, specifically TPUs and GPUs. Number 2, Anthropic takes all that massive computing power and uses it to train their super safe frontier models. And third, Google Cloud then steps back in to host those highly sophisticated models. It's a total win-win. Anthropic gets the physical hardware they so desperately need, and Google gets the lock-in spot as the primary cloud provider for a top-tier AI lab.
It's honestly fascinating when you step back and realize that these brilliant theoretical software ideas absolutely require physical, specialized hardware to even exist. You just cannot build the next generation of safe, highly sophisticated AI breakthroughs without high-performance infrastructure to back it up. At the end of the day, the smartest software in the world relies entirely on the physical metal to actually function.
Zooming out a bit now to Section 4, Interconnected Tech Ecosystems and Building the Big Tent.
So right now, Google is actively building what we call a big tent ecosystem. What that means is they are deliberately moving away from doing purely internal development. Instead, they are actively supporting external, highly specialized research labs, like Anthropic. By doing this, they make sure the absolute best models in the world are running on Google Cloud, making it an essential go-to hub for developers everywhere. And crucially, this setup allows Google to seamlessly integrate and learn from Anthropic's cutting-edge safety frameworks. So, hardware, cloud infrastructure, and research labs are now basically working hand in hand, rather than being locked away in isolated, highly competitive silos.
The future of AI won't be dominated by a single winner-take-all model. That is a massive, massive shift in thinking. For the longest time, the tech industry was incredibly secretive. Everybody was just battling it out to be the one and only monopoly in the room. But today, the sheer scale and complexity of artificial intelligence literally demands a new, deeply collaborative reality. We are officially in an era of deep technological synergy.
And that brings us to our final stop, Section 5, Reliability over Size, the new era of AI deployment.
We are currently witnessing probably the most important conceptual shift in the tech industry today. See, the old focus used to just be how big can we build these models? It was literally just a sheer race for raw size and capability. More data, more parameters, bigger is better. But as these systems have gotten more and more capable, a completely new focus has taken the wheel. Now the question is, how reliably and safely can we deploy these systems? The entire industry has pivoted. They don't just want a powerful AI anymore. They absolutely demand a trustworthy, safe integration that strictly aligns with our human values.
So, I want to leave you with this final thought to chew on. In this new era of totally interconnected ecosystems, what role will you play in the reliable and safe deployment of our technological future? As students, as the future builders of this exact landscape, you are stepping into a world where safety, true collaboration, and ethical alignment are just as important as raw computing power. Think about how you can contribute to that balance. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today, and as always, keep learning.